Well, I mean, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. I mean, as a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle.
What? Tired to settle? You have all your kids by Pookies and Ray Rays. What do you mean tired to settle?
A few weeks later, I'm sure you've had some time to think about what you guys discussed in the car. I'm sure you've had some time to think about it. Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No second dates?
Not yet.
Okay. So I'll start with you, Jay. What has dating been like for you since that video went viral?
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected, I might not have put my best foot forward, you know? And so I feel like, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of theirs has seen the video and shares it with them. And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video.
Absolutely.
And
they're gonna have a lot of visions of you because it went viral. You have to look at it this way. Most of the women that do not like the video are toxic women. Most of the women and men who do like the video understands what a good relationship is supposed to be. Understand what a good date is supposed to be when you have respect for the other person. The only problem that he did was desperation led him down the wrong road with the wrong woman.
it hasn't really helped.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, you know, dating has already been difficult for me. You know?
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, I think in general, my values kind of reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation.
He has exactly what most guys are looking for, someone to build with. But we live in a world where a lot of these women have literally been brainwashed into being reality show audition guests, which means that most of these girls are living their life like they're trying to write a book after, and they're looking for a simp that can play these characters that they need to play in their life. In other words, women are looking for weak men that's going to do what they want to do and say what they want to say in order for them to act out scenes that they're seeing in reality shows, which means some days she's gonna be happy, some days she's gonna be mad. Some days she's gonna want you to be beta, and other days she's gonna want you to be alpha. And a man's gonna get stuck in the middle like, what is really going on in society?
Our mutual values. And I think it in general, a lot of the people that I meet, either they don't have time to set towards building something like that, or they just don't want to because you know, they're younger, they want to experience, you know, casual dating or whatever it is. And it's just not something that I'm looking for right now.
Understood. So obviously, guys, Jay's saying that they have they're viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating.
Most guys are not looking for casual dating anymore because casual dating still leads down the wrong road. A lot of people are taking their life more serious, and it's not really about sex and sexual partners. You'll notice in life, people who have the highest sex drive are those who are the most confused and going through the most stress. We have less stressed men now, so they're not making emotional decisions, they're making logical decisions. But we live in a world where women are not used to living in logical thinking because the world has adapted to her delusional feelings.
When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's been...
What's a Giga Chad? All right, we need somebody in the comments right now, if you know what a Giga Chad is, put that down in the comments. And if you've been watching this long, you need to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that like button and that notifications button. But first, tell me, what's a Giga Chad?
Mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
Thank you.
We'll get that right. Okay, so Alicia, you didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now you had a definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay, okay.
Let's back up a little bit. To be fair, I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me. That means...
He was courting you. Let's get real. That man was going above and beyond to court you. When we stop and look at how you look, how you dress, the bright lipstick that you're wearing, you should have been at McDonald's. You was at the Cheesecake Factory. That is 8 levels above your grade of a woman. It's that simple. You are a Burger King chick and he was taking you to Cheesecake Factory. You should have just been quiet. You had the bag. You fumbled the bag at Cheesecake Factory.
Wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Whatever I want, you buy me. That's courting. You know, I'm looking for a provider. So, but after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of in that exchange. I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
A little bit nice. You gotta be a little bit humble. You should have been humble from the gate. You know ain't nobody taking you out like that with purple lipstick on. Women don't even wear purple lipstick unless they doing one of those makeup shows on Netflix where they gotta dress up like characters. Outside of that, you should have been extremely humble because that man was already going above and beyond. And I think when people physically look at you, that's what they think.
So now I ask you this, based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's what the man's, he's supposed to be the provider.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'm a beautiful woman, so I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on. So that's what I was doing.
You gotta act like royalty in order to get treated like royalty. Women make the mistake because they're trying to demand someone treat them like royalty. No, you get treated like royalty by humbling yourself. You would have built your way up to royalty. He already was opening up the door, taking you to Cheesecake Factory. Seriously, mama, all you had to do was just shut up, play the game. You and him were already been at the mall. You would have already been shopping. You would have already been picking out your next date, your next clothes. Because believe it or not, when you have a guy looking to build a foundation, he has a lot of money saved up, ready to spend on his woman. After a man gets the car he wants, gets the watch he wants, and a couple of little clothes, the rest of his money would be going towards trying to build a foundation. She fumbled the bag because she was not used to being around a guy like that. Simple.
And that's where the disconnect was. Right. In the video, now of course I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video you basically told him that, you know, you're not going in there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory. Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside a Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So peer pressure probably keeps you from...
Never lived that. Oh my God. I would never live that down.
Wow. Ate the Cheesecake Factory, they wouldn't let you live that down.
No, I haven't.
She's lying. She's lying. I'm sorry, but there's nobody on the planet that's going to tell you that the Cheesecake Factory is a downgrade. There's nobody that's going to say that. There's no woman going to say that's beneath her grade. I don't care where you live at, from Beverly Hills all the way down to the slums of Louisiana. It does not matter. Cheesecake Factory is one of those world-renowned places that is okay for you to eat. regardless of your status. What she's doing is all cap. And I hate when ugly, low self, overweight women develop this model type mindset. It just doesn't make other men angry. It makes other women angry as well, because she probably doesn't even have any friends that's gonna be judgmental. That's it. She ain't got no friends that's gonna say, hey girl, him taking you to the Cheesecake Factory is bad. They're probably like, what guy is taking her out?
Protect.
Wow.
Does not do that. That, I mean, that was, you know, that was my circle though. That's how,
Sure.
I mean, that's how we roll.
Sure.
I mean, to be quite blunt, that's how we roll. I purposely.
Let's see your crew. Let's see your crew of girls. I gotta see a crew of women that's gonna say the Cheesecake Factory is bad for a first date for a woman wearing purple lipstick, fake hair, and overweight, and too tall for the guy. Who's gonna say that's the worst place to go?
Why? I mean, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. I mean, as a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle.
What?
We wanna be treated well.
Tired to settle? You have all your kids by Pookies and Ray Rays. What do you mean tired to settle? Everybody knows that the black woman is going to skip over the good guy and go directly to the bad one to have kids with, and then run back to the good guy to clean up the relationship. You keep talking about settling. Black women ain't never settled for the bad guy. I'm sorry. You wanted them because it's more exciting and it's easy for you to connect with and control.
We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after. However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative,
Being soft.
not being combative,
You're
right?
Actually being soft.
Right,
Right.
right,
Being receptive, being
right.
sweet.
Absolutely.
Being pleasant. Right. Because we do understand the value of resources, but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling and the lifestyle they'll live when married. Is for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, you know, respect his resources or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her.
Right.
Right. And so when you were in the beginning of it, you was just saying, I'm not doing it. It seemed really selfish.
It
right.
was.
And I appreciated that when I saw the video myself. That's one of the things I covered is, wow, I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable, right? And you were. But
The internet got him delusional. That's what's happening with her. She's a prime example of what happens when you spend too much time by yourself, mad you can't have nobody, and you just keep upping your standards. By the time you come around into real life, you actually think people are going to treat you like this character you've given yourself from being lonely. That's all that happened to her. Now she's making up friends. She's making up standards. Sorry, sweetheart. People that are in that class of status normally takes care of themselves with class. They normally don't dress like tramps. They normally don't wear purple lipstick. And one thing that status people do and that they all have in common is they maintain being in shape. That's what you would learn about high status women. They're always in yoga. They're always in fitness. They're always making sure they look good. They're not walking around sloppy with high standards. That's what delusional women do.
Jay, however, didn't want to go out on a date. He wanted to discontinue that date, and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going on back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's. I'm sorry, at least. Yeah, that's the first time I've really like put my foot down to that kind of extent. But it's not like an isolated incident.
Okay.
You know, like I've gone on dates with several people now, even before her, where they had very specific things they were looking for in a boyfriend or whatever, and even within my own circles, right? And that's just not something that I'm looking for, because I was raised like we were talking about how she was raised. Whereas with me, like my family, like we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close-knit, strong family.
You passed down your first name, Jay? Like your
Yes.
father's and father.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
generations, probably?
I mean, I couldn't really count it myself.
Wow.
Because I mean, the thing is, like, I'm from India.
Okay.
You know, and the partition happened where, like, India was separated from Pakistan. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my family were on both sides of that. And we had to come back together.
Wow.
And we had to, it was very important for us to stay strong after the fact. Mm-hmm. At the time, maybe.
The moral of the story here is, guys, when you set yourself out to be a valuable man, the best thing that he did was walk away from the relationship early, cut her off early, make the decisions early, because a lot of guys drag this out through the relationship. The only problem is the foundation that he's trying to build, that he sees with his mother and father, he probably needs to stay in India with Indian women. This is what happens when you date outside your lane. And I tell guys this all the time. When you date outside your lane, you're already setting yourself up to get played, and you're setting yourself up for a bad relationship because you and her don't have any natural chemistry. You're just trying to be together to keep from being lonely. The older you get without being in a relationship, the more desperate you're going to be, the more you're going to tell yourself, maybe I should try something new. Maybe I should try doing something different than what I'm used to. Well, this is what happens when you try something new. When you go outside your lane, it doesn't work. The best thing for a man to do is find your lane, stay in it, become very disciplined. When it comes to the Cheesecake Factory girl, I can almost guarantee you this. This is going to be a humbling situation for a lot of other women. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels if you haven't already. If you watched this far, there should be no reason why you haven't subscribed, all right? And definitely hit that notifications button. See you on the next one. Hasta la vista.